Hey, welcome to The Guide. I'm Yo.
And I'm Will.
And we're here to talk a little bit about the start of the football season.
Woo!
NCAA Football 13 released. Of course, that's college football. For some people, that's not real football. I don't know. I like pro football. College football is fun. I will say this. There has been, in the last couple years especially, there's been oftentimes where I've wished some of the stuff that they did in NCAA 13 would have made it over to Madden 13. Because, let's face it, the gameplay in NCAA 13 is pretty good for a football game.
Yeah.
It's pretty stellar, and I think there were times, at least in the last couple of years, haven't played Madden 13 yet, where some of that polish, some of that refinement, some of that fun was kind of lacking from the pro game. But what were your overall impressions of NCAA 13?
Well, with college football, I found that it's a lot more fun for me to play than to watch.
True.
I'm an NFL viewer,
Right.
But when you're playing, it doesn't really matter.
It is fun, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
And I enjoyed they make it easy for everyone to play, whether or not you want to be very realistic and particular about your gameplay, or use the one button mode where it's just like, all right, hey, I'm winning. But
That's pretty awesome that you use the one button.
I had to start off slow.
No, I understand. Yeah, that's good. That's why it's there.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, I had fun playing some exhibition games, and the Heisman Trophy challenges are very cool
Really
because
cool.
Partly just because they're really neat storylines that you get to play out with your own skill.
And you get to see videos of those guys talking about some of the things, like with Barry Sanders, like one of the first videos, he's talking about some of the other teams he would have liked to play with because of how their play style would have helped him as a player. And that type of stuff is really fascinating to watch. As you go through the challenge, you unlock more videos from whichever character you're playing as, and you can learn more about. That's really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Great mode. And I also love that you could take like Barry Sanders and you could have him play for the Colorado Buffaloes in your Heisman Trophy challenge, which was great. And then you try and go through the season and see if you can beat his records. It's just a lot of fun. And of course, Tim Tebow's going to be included in that as downloadable content. But they got some recognizable players. I don't know a lot about college football or Heisman Trophy winners, but I did recognize a lot of these guys. Obviously, most of them went on to have pro careers, but still, it was cool to see and experience some of their college career.
Yeah, and kind of get a feel for the start of them and their popularity. And some cool game modes were implemented in this. The bullet time kind of
reaction time. Yeah, that was an interesting thing. At first I started doing Road to Glory, where you create a character. I was a quarterback, and I didn't find as much use for it as a quarterback, because it basically slows things down and you can react better, hence reaction time. But as a running back, especially when I was doing Barry Sanders in the Heisman Trophy Challenge, when I slowed things down, man, I could break huge runs because it gave me that extra time to react to which direction defenders were coming in. Yeah. And it was almost unfair.
Well, yeah, definitely. And that's where it kind of creates two gameplay versions in NCAA 13. There's kind of an arcade mode where you can take advantage of reaction time, things like that. Yeah. But then you can do it the real way and the tough way and get mode.
It is not available, however, when you play Online Dynasty. That's basically the franchise mode for college football, so that's not a part of that. So if you're not a fan of bullet time, it's not in every mode. Yeah. Road to Glory and Dynasty mode, pretty much the same as they have been in past years, with a few refinements. On field, there's new passing animations, new catching animations, all that type of jazz, which you probably won't really be cognizant of. Yeah. But I did get a sense that there's a lot of times where it looked and felt more like actual football.
Yeah, especially I was noticing the tackle graphics.
Yes, yes.
You see the players. There's more arm movement and definition of.
And there was more moments where there was like impact that wasn't quite enough to bring my guy down, but threw him off of balance, and he would put a hand down and try and keep his balance. And sometimes I would, and sometimes another guy would come in and cream me. But again, it gave a more fluidity to the overall gameplay, which was really enjoyable. So what would you give NCAA 13 overall?
Just because it's like you said, they're taking the old games and just adding a bit and piece here and there, and so I don't think it's revolutionary, but I would go with a 5 out of 7 would be a safe average score for me.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's not a drastic step forward. It's not revolutionary, but it makes some subtle tweaks and whatnot that do improve on last year's game, and then the addition of the Heisman Trophy Challenge is a lot of fun.
I think that's the best thing about this new one.
I agree. And reaction time is gimmicky, but it's actually a good gimmick. It's one that I actually didn't mind using. It wasn't like the passing cone in Madden Football. We're like, why is this here? It's gimmicky, but I enjoyed it, and it was useful, and I had fun with it. It wasn't one where I was instantly like, where's the option to turn that off?
Yeah, it's a skill builder.
It is.
If you're new to the games, because you can use the reaction time to kind of get a feel about how the players spread through the field,
when to make
and
your moves,
when you can throw, and then you can work that away into real time.
Yeah, so I agree with you. 5 out of 7 for NCAA Football 13. It's a solid game. If you have last year's, there's not a lot of reasons to upgrade unless you're just a diehard fan and you want to upgrade. If you haven't played NCAA football, this is a great one to jump on and start playing with, because it is a lot of fun. You can read our full review, of course, at The Guide, gameandmovieguide.com. And also keep up when we post new reviews.
Yeah, if you've got anything to say about it, check out our Facebook comments. It's facebook.com/Game Movie Guide. We're also on Twitter and Google+.
And you can also find more from our friends over at HollywoodJesus.com.